Hello, everyone, and welcome. What a beautiful morning in Alva, Oklahoma, in northwest Oklahoma. Pretty much in Oklahoma, but we're in the, garden spot of Oklahoma. This is Rose and Ben. 168 years of combined shenanigans. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. Rosie, thorns and all, how are you, my girl?
Oh, it's a great day to be alive in Alva, Oklahoma. Did you get to see the Northern Lights? I saw a lot of pictures.
I took a picture. You know what's strange and cool is how far cameras have come in phones.
Yes.
Like if you think you can see the Northern Lights, go ahead and take the picture anyway, because the camera in the phone is going to make it way better than what you're seeing.
That's what I understand. And you were able to see them? They were good?
Yes. Really good, 9 o'clock, something like that.
Yes.
They dimmed a little at 2 a.m., but,
It was really a spectacular opportunity that
Rosie,
we had.
I've got to say to you, girl, you do not look a year older.
Whoa, thank you.
When was your birthday? Was it 2 Sundays ago?
Yeah.
Okay, I have some news for you, Rosie.
Okay.
Our show is 1 year old.
Yes.
Nobody thought it would. I certainly didn't think it would go that long.
Well, I think you told me it was just going to be one day.
Yeah, and then we stretched it to 3 weeks, and here we are. For those of you that don't know, morning shows are done 6 a.m. to 9 or 10, 5 days a week. Did them for years. Flew traffic for a while, had to have the airplane in the air 30 minutes before sunrise. What a way to live. Rosie and I decided we wanted to do a morning show, but we've come a little further down the road now. So this is the most mature and latest morning show that you'll ever listen to. But we don't want to go 5 days, and we don't want to get up early in the morning, though Rosie's in the pool at the college at 6 a.m., I've heard. I'm not going there to look.
Back to 7, but
Have you got back to
yeah,
7?
I went this morning at 7.
You did?
Yes.
Now that you're 91, you've slacked off a little bit?
You're losing a little ground.
Okay. Have you ridden your bicycle today?
No, but I'm going to.
I know that you are, Rosie.
I rode it yesterday.
I know that you are. So we want our morning show to be one day, and we don't want to work Friday, so it's Thursday.
That's a good
1
day.
hour. We don't want to get up at 6. I don't. So 11 to 12. Now, having said that, the people at Holder Drug have said, we would like for you to come and celebrate the 1-year birthday of the show, Rose and Ben.
Oh, my goodness.
And so next Thursday, we'll be live on location at Holder Drug.
Oh, phenomenal.
Downtown Alva.
We'll be eating Jack and Jill Sundays.
We will, yes, and drinking those incredible cherry limeades. Very
Yes.
favorite.
Oh, super.
And that's to celebrate your 91st birthday also.
Oh, good.
So that's my news this morning. Now, we've got a big deal. A big deal.
Yes, we do.
I was at the Veterans thing yesterday in Winoka, and I talked to people about this in the little speech I gave, and the vets came up after the show and said, now what? Really? So, yeah, we have a World War II veteran.
Which is quite unusual.
Incredible. I was telling him, and you're going to introduce him in just about a minute. I was telling him my dad landed at Normandy Beach. He's been deceased a few years, and he died at 92 years old. So I'm saying to our guest, you must have been very young to have done this, and that'll be a part of his story. So let me get out of the way. You now know, don't come out here next week, Rosie.
Okay.
We don't have a problem with you. What I'm saying is you need to call me and say, Benny,
I'm going to be there.
We're going to Holders now.
Okay.
Let me ask Associate SID of NWOSU, Cade Kennedy.
Yeah.
Cade, will you be able to join us at Holders, or will you be on assignment?
I'll be there.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
good.
good. Give me quick Northwestern news for the weekend.
Quick Northwestern news tonight: volleyball against Southwestern. It's senior night for volleyball at Purcell Fieldhouse at 6 o'clock, and then tomorrow morning Northwestern soccer at 11 a.m. out at Harding University, out in Searcy, Arkansas. 7-hour drive. They're playing in the Great American Conference semifinals. You win 2 games, they're conference champions for the first time ever in Division II history. And then Saturday, cap off football season at Ranger Field, 3 o'clock, Military Appreciation Day, Northwestern taking on Southwest.
SWOSU is a grudge match.
It is. I mean, last year, Southwestern won 50-0, ran up the score a bit in football at the end, trying to get revenge there.
Yes. Good. So we're up to date there. Let me very briefly introduce my guest. Now, Donnie, you're not going to talk right now, but I want people to know that you and Brad are here. Donna Perot and Brad Perot are here as guests also. They are veterans. Thanks, Madam Chaplain, for praying for us yesterday at the Veterans Day. You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Well, thank you for coming today. We're going to go to our featured guest, and you be ready with comments and questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Brad, are you okay? Just circling around and having a little coffee. Thank you for coming.
Yes, I am. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, man. All right. Brad and Donna Perot. Now let's go to Rosie
Okay.
for today's featured guest.
Thank you, Benny. We're just honored to have Mr. Earl Rice, who is coming up on 100 years old. Now think about that.
I'm thinking.
And he served in World War II at a very young age. And he has a good friend by the name of Don Lynch. And I want to tell a little bit about Don Lynch before we go. Don is a veteran. Don served on the CSS Pom Pom for 3 years in the Atlantic in 1953, fighting in the Korean War. Don is real proud to have served and is an active member of the Legion and is one of the guys that puts out the flags for every historical special day that we have. He's very proud to have been in the service, and it shows all the way through it. He's also a member of our museum board and does a lot of work for us. I'm going to turn our special guest over to him because he can ask him the correct questions, and they have a lot in common, both having served in the military. With this, I'm going to pass the microphone to Don.
Thank you, Rosie. Rosie's already told me what I'm supposed to say, but I'm not going to do that at all.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to follow my own instincts. My first thought is back in the 40s, and I was there in the 40s, they didn't talk about the greatest generation. But I want to tell you that the greatest generation was that generation that fought on Okinawa, Guadalcanal, Normandy. They were true Americans. And the man that I'm going to introduce soon was born during that time limit. You're going to find out he doesn't speak Oklahoman. He speaks Philadelphian. So you'll have to try to get him to interpret what he's saying. But he lost his father very early and his mother. His aunt and uncles raised him. He went on and eventually was in the Catholic Projectory. At age 17, he joined the United States Marine Corps. I'll let you tell him a little bit about that, but I'm going to hand this to Bob. He was noted in Operation Iceberg, which was written by Gerald Astor. He was one of the people that were interviewed, the Marines that were on Okinawa, and it's quite a book. I suggest you get it if you can and read it. With that in mind, I'm going to introduce PFC. I don't think he ever made sergeant. I'm sure he got broke many times, but PFC Bob Rice. Now, his name is really Earl Bob Rice, but he tells me that Bob is the name he wanted to go by. Bob, I'd like for you to tell him first why you were on Paravoo and what happened there, and then we'll go from there to Peleliu.
Okay. I'm going to start from the very beginning so you know what I'm talking about. I heard later on what I heard about that Admiral Halsey asked Nimitz and Roosevelt not to land on Peleliu. We don't need the island. We all got our plans from Saipan, and then we got the stuff out in the middle. And so he says, I already planned it. He says, he says, we'll just take 2 or 3 days, and then we go all the way to the Philippines. You know that. And of course, we landed there on the 15th of September, and on the 16th of October is when I got wounded. So, getting back to Peleliu, I just want to talk one thing about it. The temperature was over 110. A lot of people said 114. I say 110 to be clear. It was the hottest I've ever been in my life, and I lived most of my life in Florida. Anyway, they filled our canteens up, but they made a mistake. And of course, I didn't know that. They put our canteens in the oil cans. So when we got that temperature of so hot and everything else, you went to take a drink of water, you couldn't. You could gargle, but anybody that took it got sick. It was very bad. It was in oil drums, and they made a mistake, and they thought it was what. But that was the biggest thing that happened. Now, if ordinarily when you went about Cat, what he told me to tell you a little about Cat Allen. And I'm almost glad to say it. I'm so happy. His real name is Graham Allen, and he's from Atlanta, Georgia. Anyway, when I first came over there, I got malaria and I got ptomaine poison, and it was very bad. But I'm going to cut all that short. And so I lost all that weight, doing. It made me look younger yet, So when I could still remember walking down that street of where the tents were. Sergeant Clark gave me the stuff to take, and I came to. And I heard them saying, "What the hell are they sending over now? Oh my God, what's happened?" So I had some. I'm not going to tell you what words I had for them, but I had some other words for them. And I got to the tent, and Cat Allen, great big 6'1" Georgian, he got a cat-like face, but he was a good-looking guy, and I never appreciated him. He says, "Get in the other tent." I says, "Sergeant Shark told me to come in this tent." He says, "I tell you to get in that tent." And I says, "I tell you, I'm not going. I'm sitting there." And I defied him. And he was a lot bigger. He was a big boy. And he, instead of coming after me, he just laughed and laughed. And he says, you can stay there for the night, but tomorrow we'll move you out of here, which they did. But he became my group leader. And the guy used to love to make me mad. I don't know why. He was, when I get angry, he'd be laughing. He never once raised a hand, and I called him everything he could think of. And he was just, I could never explain you what a great person he was. And I never appreciated it either, I'll tell you that. But anyway, Cat, he lived in that end tent, and now I was to the next tent to him. And during the time, there was a lot of things happened, but he just and it was very good to me. I got. Bob Hope's show came, so we knew something big was going to happen. Then they told us we're leaving. The last day before you go into combat, you get on a boat. The last day you're there is a free day. The sergeants are gone, the officers are, and they all dig up their booze from they make, during the time. what do you call it? Anyway, there's a name for it. I just called it. I forgot it. Anyway, and then they sold bottles from the officers, and they got them out, and everybody was drunk, and it was just. I mean, it was just a great day.
It was just a great day.
Yeah, and at this point, but the whole thing was this. It was the day before that. I was playing horseshoes with Cat, and he came to me. He says, "Rice, you're not going with us." I says, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm already," which I was. He says, "Nope, you're going to be a stretcher bearer," and I blew my top, and I says, "You'll be the best." I said, "What would be that I pick up?" And I kept saying that, and I was tremendously mad because I worked out. I was in good shape. But the guy, I realized after, I looked 14, and it just bothered them. My squad leader, his name was Gallant, Joseph Gallant. And you know the funny thing about it, they named him right. He was on guard duties. And while he was on guard duty, his brother was killed in combat. So he jumped ship. He was a sergeant to our ship because he wanted to fight the war, and he became my squad leader, Joseph Gallant. And I don't. You couldn't have named him better. I wasn't there. I only missed 2 days in all the time I've been in A Company, almost 2 years, and I missed the third and fourth day. I was carrying the people, but I didn't want to tell the worst night before my life, and I got no sleep whatsoever, and I got maybe 2 or 3 the night before. But it wasn't that; it was the idea, the heat. It was so hot. I mean, it was. I took my coat off. You know, you could almost see me in that picture. Take a look at the guy with no coat. And anyway, I thought that that it was awful what they did to me, and so to cut the story short, you know, Cat Allen was really a great person and Gallant. My squad leader rarely talked to me, but he was like John Wayne, and he should have remembered he wasn't John Wayne. That's why they told me he got on top of a tank. They had a head on with the Japanese on the third and fourth, the third and fourth day, yeah, and he got on top of a tank, you know, like, and he was killed. But his name was Joseph Gallant, but they sure named him right, huh? Named Joseph Gallant, because he was a very gallant person.
Time out. We've got to make a little bit of money to pay for the lights, and we'll be right back to you. And when we come back, we're going to reintroduce you, and so everybody will know who we're talking to and why we're talking. And let me see. I had one other thing to say, and oh yeah. Tomorrow, it is tomorrow. Tomorrow, South Barber in the second round. The play-by-play will start at 6 p.m. Actually, the kickoff will be at 6 p.m. So join Justin Goodnow and Cade Kennedy and myself. We'll be bringing you football action. We'll be back with more of Rose and Ben and our World War II veteran, Mr. Rice, right after this word.
It's Rose and Ben on KALV.
Alva State Bank and Trust Company, older than Oklahoma, big enough to serve you and small enough to know you.
We love to give back to our customers. Did you know Alva State Bank offers a great rewards checking account program? That's right. You can earn cash back or high interest with our Kasasa accounts. We will even refund you up to $25 in ATM fees.
How do I qualify?
It's simple. Just swipe your debit card 12 times, sign up for online statements, and have one ACH credit or debit post to your account.
Can I do it online?
Yes. Just visit our website at www.alvastatebank.com to see if our Kasasa Rewards program is right for you. We make banking easy. Whether you're at home, the office, or in your car, our online or mobile banking options help you juggle busy schedules and financial needs.
We plant roots where others have branches.
Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
You're listening to the Rose and Ben Radio Rodeo Roundup. It doesn't have anything to do with rodeo. It just kind of fits in there. Rosie has an incredible guest, a
Yes.
wonderful guest with us. I mean, how incredible is it to have a
wor-
veteran of World War II, an active veteran?
I don't know of anybody else around. Do you?
Now, hey, I want to ask him one question before we send it to you. I saw a documentary on you, sir. I saw a documentary on you. How old were you when you did that documentary? How old were you? You were a good-looking son of a gun, but you were no longer 17 years old and skinny, I promise you.
In the 90s, I think it was.
No, it was 2007.
Oh, what you? Yeah.
2007 is when you did the documentary?
I would say that was the 90s, but.
No, that it was.
Listen, in case I did forget, and Cat got me angry, and I would say always, you'll be the first SOB that I'll pick up. And the funny thing is,
you're a
that's where it came.
stretcher bearer, right? You're a stretcher bearer?
Yeah,
Is that right?
2.5 days.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to Rosie, and we'll do the progression again. Ladies and gentlemen, the star. We're all just assistants for her, really. Here's Rosie.
Okay. We've got this tremendous guest, this man that's almost 100 years old, that served in World War II, has a tremendous amount of stories. Unfortunately, we're just going to hear a little bit of them. His name is Earl Rice, and Don Lynch has been interviewing him, and I'm going to turn this to Don to pick up on the interview.
Thank you, Rosie. I'm not sure where I'm at anymore.
Doesn't make any difference, man. You can do no wrong.
It's my pleasure to know and introduce PFC Bob Rice, United States Marine Corps. Just to cover very quickly, he and Cat Allen had some questions between each of them, and in the final analysis, Bob told him, he said, "Well, you're going to be the first SOB I pick up on the beach," and unfortunately, he was, and that upset Bob tremendously. Bob, I'm going to move from Peleliu now on over to the invasion of Okinawa. So kind of jump stream on you here, but tell us where you were at when you went in on Okinawa landing.
Well, I'll give you the beginning. We got up for 5 o'clock in the morning, and they gave us a very light breakfast, and then that angered me. Then I realized later on why. But anyway, we went downstairs, and that's where our boats are, and back up again to watch the Jap plane come over, and then use $1 million worth of ammunition to knock them down. And then I remember my friend Rue was right behind me. I could never forget it. I just stays with me. And he hit me. He says, "Rice, we're going to get the Congressional." That was the day we were later. So, but he was funny. But he was a great person. Anyway, we went back, got on the boats. They're down there. We were in LST 77. That's how old it was. And you come out, they open up, and you come out on boats downstairs. They have downstairs. So you go downstairs, you get in the boat, they take out, and then you realize why they didn't feed you. You went around for over an hour, around and around and around, and your feeling was you got it. I threw up. So did many guys, because it's just over and over again. But then they turn the boats and they go straight that way, and that means they're going in, and you know it. And I will never forget this day for one reason. We came down, and we know we're coming. We didn't know exactly when, and Lieutenant Cook was in charge of us, and he says, as soon as you heard the boat hit the ground, hits a little bit of the ground, and you heard him say, "Fix bayonets," every man, and I was standing in the back, every man in the boat blessed herself. It was the most amazing thing. We were so religious. It shows you the difference of religion. But they were, I didn't see anybody that didn't bless themselves. And that's how we came in to Okinawa. It was, like I say, I probably missed this and that, but I had no plan for this. I'll let you. I'll answer all your questions now.
Yeah, Bob. Another question that comes to mind: your first night on the beach there in Okinawa, you were in a foxhole by yourself, and tell us.
That was in Peleliu.
That was in Peleliu. Okay, on Okinawa. On Okinawa, I guess it was on the second day. You had a BAR that you were carrying. And you were climbing up a hill, and somebody says that you shouldn't smoke because it kills you. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about your BAR and your smoke break.
I think it's I hope to be talking wrong, but I was a BAR man that was on Peleliu. But anyway, yeah, we come in, we hit the beach, like I tell you about the prayer, but there wasn't like Peleliu. There was nobody waiting for us. The 2nd Marine Division had made a fake landing the day before, and they all went to the south side. So anyway, we had very very little casualties in April. The only one I can remember is Speedy Martin. He's from Colorado, and he's the only person I owed $30 or never. And I remember I talked to him for 25 minutes, and I said, "Speedy, I'll send you the money." I didn't know he was going to die. You never know them things. And so, but the biggest thing Camp Okinawa was more or less Dakashi Ridge. It was in May. The war, everybody was talking about the war going to be over in Europe, and I says, "Well, it sure ain't showed any part of it here." So, but we went to Dakashi Ridge that day, and they had machine guns on all 3 hills in front of us and both sides, and they just mowed down so many people. It was one of the most terrible looking things you're going to see in your life. And to me, we had, as far as I'm concerned, some real heroes. I remember Lieutenant Demmler, who I had a lot of trouble with. I didn't know he was a lieutenant, and I went after him, and he wanted to get me a court martial, and Lieutenant Rome stopped him. But anyway, Lieutenant Demmler, I don't know what he was, but he went up that hill. See, everything is threes. And, say, for instance, we have 3 platoons. 2 platoons are going, and 1's in reserve. But, they're all right there. So anyway, Demmler went up that hill. Instead of going up behind his men or around, he went up in front of us. And I don't know how many times he was hit, but it was something that stuck in my head. Lieutenant Demmler, he went away up the hill, and he just, I don't know why he kept trying to come up. He was shot, I don't know how many times. And he was laying down there at the end, and I'm the guy him and I were not friends. He handed me a note, and I know it sounds crazy. It is the honest God's truth. I wish I'd have kept it. I gave it to Lieutenant Cook. He says, it said, "Lieutenant Cook, I need blood." I had never seen anything. And then he would, stretcher bearers took him across and one of them got shot. So now he directed the rest of them across where a shortcut. And when he got to where they had to go, then he died. I just thought I'd mention it, but that was part of that was part of it.
Bob, you may have answered this question, but from what I remember, you were going on a smoke break and you had your BAR.
Yeah.
And in the process,
What's a BAR?
a BAR is a Browning automatic rifle.
Right.
You laid it down for a smoke break, and it was next to a tree, and you looked up, and there was a Jap coming after you, and he shot you. Tell us a little bit about the rest.
Well, I made a tremendous mistake. If you look at the books you're running, can you hear me okay? When you look at the books, you'll see where I said it bounced off of the cement and came. It couldn't do that as the years went by, 50, 60 years. He couldn't do it because, first of all, there'd be a big mark here, and there was no big scar. And I think that I got hit right here, and you just don't notice it. And that's what made all the blood. And it was the most, you would think that I was really hit bad because it was.
You're not telling the story yet.
It's not on. The story is that when Bob did not have his weapon near him, and the Japanese soldier looked at him and did not fire another round. He was wearing a Marine helmet for some reason, but
The
he did not
Japanese
fire.
soldier was wearing a Marine helmet?
He was wearing a Marine helmet.
I
yes.
see.
Yeah. Bob, not sure where we are.
Well,
on
let me interrupt you then. We're going to come back to Mr. Rice in just a moment. For those of you that just joined us, this is a Rose and Ben show, and we have a World War II veteran with us today, answering questions to another veteran, Don Lynch. And I have in the studio also two other veterans, Brad and Donna Perot. We're going to pause for just a minute here. And did I mention that this is the Rose and Ben show and that Rose, our star, is right here? She's had her hair cut. You'll be able to see her at Holders next week, and you can see she just had her 91st birthday, but she got her hair cut. She looks 16. She had to show an ID at the liquor store the other day. I'm not sure what she was doing in the liquor store, but that's probably another story. We'll be back right after. What'd you say, Rosie?
Let me in the casino.
They wouldn't let you.
No.
Too young to go to the casino. We'll be right back on the Rose and Ben Radio Rodeo Roundup. Doesn't have anything to do with rodeo, but it's going on. Here we go.
It's Rose and Ben on KALV. Let's talk about your future. Are you looking for a career change or possibly training in computers, health careers, automotive, cosmetology, digital design, electrical trades, welding, or biomedical sciences? At Northwest Technology Center, we offer these programs for adults, high school, and homeschool students from Alene Clio, Alva, Canton, Cherokee, Fairview, Freedom, Ringwood, and Winoka. Call to enroll today at 580-327-0344 in Alva or 580-227-3708 in Fairview. Northwest Technology Center is preparing students for success in education, careers, and life. This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are talking with Mr. Rice, and a World War II veteran, and Don Lynch, also a veteran, is doing some of the interviewing. I kind of got tickled because Don was interviewing him introducing him as PFC Rice. So he and I would have that in common. I was a Spec 4 times and three times and a PFC 4 times. So we have that in common. I feel like I'm his brother now.
That's
so,
not a good record.
I got a text here that says you referred to a book. What is the book? Can we buy it? And is PFC Rice in the book?
PFC Rice and many other veterans of that campaign are in that book. It is Operation Iceberg. It was written by Gerald Astor. Where you can get it at, I can't tell you, but I suspect there's one down in the library here in Alva, Oklahoma.
You can get it on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon. Okay, very good. Any other question?
Not yet. Go right on in to
I'm gonna-
reintroducing this young gentleman.
I'm going to jump around a little bit more here because we're getting short of time. But after the campaign on Okinawa, you were sent on to China to mop up the Japanese that were left in China. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know. Well, about China was, when we came to China, that they were very, very poor and hungry. They ate out of our garbage cans. Have you seen a train going by? You couldn't see in between because of so many people there. Once in a while, like when McRae was going there, one guy fell through and they cut his legs off. The doctor came. Have you got any money? He says, no. He says, goodbye. So McRae tried to save his life. McRae became a doctor later on. McRae, I say, I hate that I bring things up, and but McRae was a guy that sat on a landmine, and his inside, and he was a tall, good-looking guy too. But anyway, get back to what I think. The Peleliu, but half because it got a little mixed up. It wasn't on. It was Peleliu that I had the BAR, and I'll give you right quick as I went. We're down in the little valley there. On the left side of us was the officers and the other guys, and our right side was the Japanese. And so anyway, I wanted a cigarette so bad I was carrying, and I hate the BAR. The BAR man got hit, then the BAR assistant, he got hit, so that left me with that's how I became a BAR man. But anyway, I walked up the hill and put the BAR on the bank, and I looked around very carefully, and I lit up that cigarette, and boy, it just tasted so good. And then all at once I felt something. And I turned around, and as I turned, he turned the same way as me, and he shot. So I realized now it was right little tinky there because that's where the blood comes. The blood just gushed. It looked like I was really. I mean, even my company commander ordered me down. I tried to tell them because I could feel there was nothing there, and the Japanese that shot me was still standing in front of me, and he was tall, right? He had he had hats on. He had the helmets, from Marines he probably found. And,
you mean a United States helmet?
Huh?
A United States helmet he had on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was about 6 foot. So Japanese aren't usually that tall. And I stared at him because of that, but he stared at me. I don't know why. I can't understand it. He just kept staring at me, and I stared at him because of the helmet. And then I said, that's not a Marine, that's a Japanese. I see in his eyes. So I went for my BAR and pulled it down. He never touched me. He could have killed me right there. He had the gun right in front of me. All he had to do was pull the trigger, and he never did it. And I don't know why I didn't do it. I can't tell you right now. I could tell her or tell you what I think, but I don't know why. Did I miss anything there?
Oh, you're good.
Doing good, Bob. No, I appreciate you telling us that story. On one of your invasions, the night that you went in, you were in a foxhole by yourself, and you
second day, 16th of September, 1944.
16th September 1944. That would have been in Okinawa then, right? Peleliu, okay. But the story is that you thought you heard Japanese crawling all around you. You were by yourself. And so you were, you might say, scared to death. But what happened?
Well, I hate to tell you, this is why I try to drop, but it's so stupid of me. But earlier tonight, I heard every cuss word you could think of from that they knew. And then I heard nothing, but I heard the crawling all night. And of course, I never slept because I was alone. Only time I was ever alone in the foxhole was that night, 16th of September. Worst night of my life. And so finally, they cut the story short. It went all night with it. And the morning came, and a little twink of daylight, and I stood up. I was so I didn't care anymore because I just stood up at a hole. Whoever it is, let's go and then get rid of it. But nobody came up, and I looked down below, hundreds of sand crabs. I had no idea. I had no idea.
No idea of how big are sand crabs?
You know what they are.
How big are sand crabs? Those are those big suckers, right?
No, they're about this big.
About as big as your fist.
They have a lot. They have a lot of sand crabs in Florida, where I lived for many years.
Uh-huh.
But they have sand crabs there. But most warm places have it. But they have it. Okay.
Bob, I'm going to ask you one other question. I don't know how we are on time here.
You're good.
But you told us a little story before we started, and I'm going to ask you to clean it up just a little bit. But you were on one of these islands, and you looked into a crack.
Okinawa.
You looked into this. I'm glad we finally got to Okinawa. You looked into this crack, and you saw a hand. And I want you to tell us the story.
Oh yeah, I was that's a story that I thought about telling you.
Cave.
Huh? Who?
A cave.
Who?
A cave.
A cave.
Oh, it was a. I don't know what they call it, a cave. No, it was just it's like a cave, I guess. But you couldn't see through it, and usually when I heard a noise, I just shot in there. Because the Japanese do that a lot, or honorable Japanese. And so they honorable do that. And so I went closer, and I had about a half a dozen guys with me. And I instead of firing, I kept listening. And it sounded like a lady. It had a woman's voice. And I seen a little thing, something, and I reached in and pulled a piece of her hand this way. So finally, I kept, trying to get to her. It's very difficult. I mean, it's just right together, and I couldn't pull her out. I was, in fact, I come to think about it, guys did help me pull her out. They couldn't pull her out alone, but she wouldn't come out. But we pulled her anyway, and as she come out, she had just had a baby there. I don't know how she had a baby. I couldn't tell you because there's no room. But we pulled her out, and she had them, what do you call them?
Maggots.
Magnets. Completely magnets up, and they were attached to her and the baby. Now, we tried to take the baby off her, but she wouldn't let go of it. And she's collared it, and we had some terrible time early getting anything. But she was full of magnets from here up to here. And the baby was all magnets. And they finally got the baby away from her, and somebody gave her a bath. She come back of that, we got clothes, because clothes is very easy to get those days. Mm-hmm. So just goes into somebody's cave, and we just pull them out. But anyway, we gave her clothes, and we gave her something to eat. We gave her candy. We gave her cigarettes to smoke. And all at once, she changed around. Instead of being what she was, I mean, she would have died. She was a different woman altogether. And she was so, I guess, appreciative. When we had to leave, we couldn't stay. She wanted to leave with us. And she was I never seen her again, but she'll always remember that. Well, probably by now she's long gone. But that's it.
So we'll be back in just a few minutes for the final fading five of Rosie and Ben. What a great day. We are talking with or listening to an honest-to-God World War II hero and veteran. And I think when we introduced him, Rosie, I'm not really sure. How old is Mr. Rice?
99.3.
99.3. He'll be 100 in August. Rosie, does that seem old to you? No, it's just me neither. I mean, he's just he could be my big brother. You know what I mean? we appreciate all our guests on this memorial, this Veterans Month of November. We have Brad and Donna Perot here. They are graciously standing by, and we're talking with PFC Rice. I love PFCs, man. I'm not big on officers, but I'm good on PFCs. We'll be right back right after this word.
You're listening to Rose and Ben on KALV.
Beatles New Beginnings Nursing Center is proud to offer comprehensive care solutions for those who matter most. From rehabilitation and palliative care to skilled nursing and long-term care, Beatles is committed to providing comfort, dignity, and peace of mind. Now, with a second location, the Beatles family continues its long-standing tradition of excellence, serving the people of Northwest Oklahoma with the same compassion and dedication they've been known for. Come by and see them at 720 North Share Boulevard in Alva. Beatles New Beginnings Nursing Center, your care, your comfort, your community.
This is Rose and Ben on KALV.
It's Rose and Ben on the radio. It's the Radio Rodeo Roundup. Has nothing to do with rodeo, very little to do with a roundup, but it has a lot to do with Rose. Here's Rosie.
Okay, we're about to wrap up this wonderful interview with Mr. Rice, and I'm going to let Dawn pass it to Dawn and kind of make a little announcement about a tape we have at the museum.
Some years ago, Bob came up to the museum, Cherokee Strip Museum, and made a tape recording. We have that tape recording at the museum, so if you'd like one, come up and ask the girls for one. Bob, I can't thank you enough for what you did.
She asked me to tell you about one other guy.
I can't thank you what you have done for my country.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I know whenever I go in, you want to buy somebody dinner, but you ought to let them buy you dinner, Bob. Thank you very much for what you've done for us. This is the last from Don Lynch.
Okay. Did you have any other quick thing that you want to tell?
I'm very happy to be in the Marines, and everybody there are idols to me more so than people outside. I gave Rena 19 people she has that died. Only one I didn't know. I wish I did. Thank you very much, and thanks to the Marines.
Thank you. You're a fantastic guest, a fantastic person, and we were honored to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
So yesterday we did a full veterans program, or did a full program on Veterans Day, and the lady that did the prayer for us is here with me. Her name is Donna Perot, and thank you very much for coming and being a part of today. You and Brad, were you and Brad in the same service? I don't know.
No, I was in the Army. He was in the Army at the time. That's where we met. And we married 6 months after meeting. We've been married 32 years. And then he went in the Navy.
Wait a minute. Boy meets girl on Army campus?
Yes.
And falls in love. Now, that's not too unusual.
But
it lasted?
Patient. Yeah, he was my patient. And we got married.
You were a medic?
I was a combat medic, and then I got my nursing. And he was my patient.
Hold it. Back up just a little bit. I don't.
That's a movie.
I mean, I know Donna and Brad as civilian people. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't usually wear the uniform around, but you guys do some because you still do service work.
Yes.
But you were a combat medic, and that's how you met Brad.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Holy cow.
Yes, sir.
And it's lasted.
Yes.
I can't tell you how fascinated I am by
Yeah,
that.
32 years. 32 years.
So what's the main thing that keeps two people together that just come together in an unusual... Brad's back pointing to coffee.
Yeah.
His coffee cup.
It's the coffee.
It's the coffee.
We've been through a lot together, and because we are both veterans, we understand each other, and we help each other through the hard times, and we just love each other, and we're dedicated.
That's that's kind of one of the main things is, I mean, lots of times when people meet for a short time, it's almost like a total honeymoon, and then after you get to know each other and it doesn't work.
Right.
But the more you got to know each other, the better it worked, huh?
Right. And we know those times that are hard for us from our military service, and we can support each other through that and we'll help each other through those times.
That's an incredible statement.
Yeah.
So Brad, let me ask you this. Is she telling the truth at all? I guess we have to go with it. I mean, she's a chaplain. She probably wouldn't lie, would she?
No, it's been a great ride. There's nothing I can comment on it. She's just been great for me. Hopefully I've been good for her. And
Brad, you were in 2 services, right?
Correct. I did 8 years in the Army first, then I took a little break. Then I went back in to the Navy and finished out all 22 years doing that job. So it was fun.
You know, my son was in the 82nd Airborne and did 2 tours in Iraq, and then he re-enlisted, still Army, ended up in the Guard, and went to Afghanistan, and was injured severely in Afghanistan. In your 22 years, we do some things in the military. There really is 3 ways to do things, right? The right way, the wrong way, and the military way.
Absolutely.
So in your 22 years, you made it through okay?
Yeah, I was okay. I mean, I, just like your son, went all over the world, multiple campaigns, different countries. Just depending on what the mission was, that's what we went and did.
That's what you did.
And
it doesn't make any difference what your MOS
No.
is. It's what we got to do today, right?
Yep. I mean, my job in the Navy was a carpenter. So,
Right.
But that's not what I did. Was what they trained me to do. But I was a CB, and I did a lot of stuff with special ops to go around different countries and supporting them by doing whatever they needed done.
Right.
So, I mean, I've built cable networks. I've built water well systems. I've built poker table, of all things. So it just depends on the day. So,
Brad and Donna Perot, there's another side to this military thing. My blonde-headed daughter, I got a blonde and a redhead, married a guy I had to sign for. She was 17. He was in boot camp in San Diego. He went from the beginning to retirement, from an E1 to a Master Chief. And she, every 2 years, set up their home somewhere else in the world. That's a tough deal. It can be a wonderful deal, but they've been Japan, Guam, every place in the United States, on and on. Thank you to the Service People's Support System. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Rose and Ben, the radio show. Catch us at Holder Drug next week. Thank you, Rosie.
Oh, that's exciting. We're going to be at Holders.
We'll be at Holders. Here we go. Thanks for joining us.